welcome back to another episode of Creative Writing Advice with me, JJ Barnes. If you don't know me, I am the author of How to Write a Story, which is out now on Amazon, and you can get that. I take you from the beginning of your story all the way through to the end and cover everything in between. What I'm hoping to do, both with this book and this channel and also my blog, is get more stories out into the world. I'm here hoping to inspire and motivate and give you the confidence to finally write that story or finish that story. If you love books and love films and love TV and have a story in the works that you've been desperate to finish and desperate to get out and are just struggling, this is what I'm hoping to help with. I want to take ideas and concepts, story tips, writing advice, break them down and give them to you in a way that will make sense so that you can feel empowered to get that out into the world. So today I'm going to be talking about a piece of advice that I see given quite a lot, but I personally never give. I'm going to talk about it, why I don't give it, but how I think you can use it in a way that will actually help you. So I see this quite often. People say, write what you know. The reason I never give this advice myself is because I am not writing what I know in the sense that I write fiction. I'm not writing my diary for the world, and I don't think you should need to. And I see quite often people talk about stay in your lane. Don't write characters that are different to you. Don't write characters from a different ethnicity or sexuality or class from you, because that's not your story to tell, and you shouldn't write people who are different to you. And I feel that kind of goes in with this, the write what you know. And I massively strongly disagree with it, because if we can only ever write what we know and only ever tell stories, either fiction about people who are exactly like us or literally just our diaries, story is going to die. We have to write what we don't know, because we're writing stories, we're writing fiction. I don't know the world of magic, and yet that is quite often what I choose to write about. Not every time. The book I'm currently working on is actually our world. It's not a magical world, but it's still not about me. It's about a character I invented called Ivy. And the books that I normally write or have previously written are about magic, and I don't know magic, obviously. I'm not a witch. So I think when you tell people write what you know, you are massively restricting creativity and humanity in all of its glorious, messy differences should be in story, even if the author of that story themselves isn't that person. And so that is why I don't give it, because I don't think we should be restricted to just write our own stories, our own lives, characters who look exactly like us or have the same experiences as us, because why would you want to take this incredible, glorious world of differences and just variety and colour and life and squash it and be like, you JJ Barnes, you can only write stories about 30-something-year-old white women who write stories and draw pictures and raise kids. Like, the world is so much bigger than me. So the world is bigger than you. So of course you shouldn't just write what you know. But where I think this can be useful, and as I say, it's not advice I give, but I think that there is a grain in it that you can actually use and you can use for your story. So I am going to talk about it, but with the caveat that don't feel restricted to just write what you know. So write what you know in terms of, if I look at my own writing, as I said, if I look at Lily Prospero books, I am not a girl with magical powers. My drawings don't come to life. I'm not part of a magical world where there are mermaids and witches and demons. I'm not in that life. However, I have been a teenage girl. I have felt like I'm strange because I'm different and an outsider. I have struggled with friendships and relationships. I have struggled to find my place. I have wanted to feel accepted. And I have felt like the thing I'm good at is a problem. And that is very much part of Lily. The thing is, the thing I'm good at was always telling stories, and it wasn't what people wanted me to be good at. What people wanted me to be good at was maths and science and practical things and career ladders and office work and human relationships in a way that I'm not good at. But I can use that experience of writing what I know for me and put that into a character in a setting that I don't know with experiences that aren't mine. So write what you know can be useful if you are able to extrapolate from your life, your pain, your hopes and dreams, and put them into a character who is different to you and living a life different to you. In Emerald Wren and the Coven of Seven, I have a very important and prominent relationship in it between two women. They're a lesbian couple, and I'm not a lesbian. But I have been in relationships. I have been in good relationships and bad relationships. I have been in loving relationships. And the relationship between Abby and Carla in Emerald Wren, I have been in a relationship that is as good and beautiful and tender and protective as that relationship. Just because my relationships have been with men, and they are two women who are together, not with a man, doesn't mean that they are somehow a different species to me. They are people in a relationship and in love. So I don't know a lesbian relationship specifically. I do know being a woman, being in love, and being in a healthy relationship and with a partner who loves you and cares for you and is tender and protective. So if you said to me you can only write what you know, stay in your lane, then those characters, that couple, wouldn't exist. I couldn't write them. But they do exist because they are part of my story, and they matter. They're an important part of my story, and I'm proud of them. And people have responded positively to them. I didn't stay in my lane. I didn't just write what I know. But I used my experiences to shape a fictional couple. Does this make sense? Because it's something I think is really important. I think a lot of people are shouting at writers for writing people different to them and trying to restrict us to only write what we know. And it's such a shame. It's such a shame because writing what you don't know is fiction. That's the point. You're writing stories, you're making it up, and putting your heart and soul and life into characters, writing what you know in that sense. Yes, definitely. I have been heartbroken, I have been frightened, I have been hopeful, I have felt lonely. All of these things I put into different characters at different points because they're real and they are mine and their life. But I'm still writing fiction, and I'm still putting in things and experiences that I don't have. And that is what I think we should do. So, the write what you know advice. For the most part, I don't agree. Write stories. Write fiction. Write people who aren't you. Explore situations you've never been in. Explore relationships you've never had. Write fiction and write stories and write the world of differences that there is. But we are all human, and you can put your history in your life. If you do it well, you can breathe yourself into characters who are different to you. The only thing I would say is you do have to be careful if you are writing the specifically about. This is tricky because, as I say, I want you to write fiction and you want to write fiction. When I do think we have to be careful is if that thing about that character is very, very central. So if I was writing, say, the coming out story of my lesbian couple, that is when I think you need to talk to. I'm not saying you shouldn't write it. I think you should talk to people who have had that experience and make sure you are really understanding and representing people well. And don't just write a bunch of stereotypes and cliches, because that's boring anyway. Don't write what you know. Write fiction. And write fictional characters. I hope this has been helpful to you. If you think I'm terribly, terribly wrong and you think I should shut up because never write something you don't know, never write people different from you, never do that, comment below and talk to me about it. I don't agree, but we might be able to find some kind of happy medium. Maybe. So yeah, tell me what you think. Are you writing characters that are different to you? Are you writing people different to you? Are you writing situations different to you? And how are you doing it in a way that is comfortable for you to do? Thank you. Subscribe to this channel. I put out a video every Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 9:30 in the morning. Mondays is my Ask Me Anything series, and Wednesday and Friday I do the deep dive into a storycraft piece of advice, concept, idea. And if you go to my website, which is jjbarnes.co.uk, you'll find links to all my work over there, as well as all my social media. Come and find me, chat to me, and let me know what you're working on, and I would love to hear from you. Thank you very much. Bye.